Hey, hey, it's Renee. I'm going to just begin without the glasses, otherwise it's reflecting. Unfortunately, if I want light on my face, I also have light on the glasses. But if I see that there's somebody here or notice any comments going through, I shall pop them back on again. It's still quite scary for me to be live. But hey, if we don't stretch ourselves, when and how will we grow? And that is really part of what I'm here to chat with you about. And I have got somebody here. Tess is here. Yeah, and Pasita. Wonderful. Oh, great. Yuppie. And you can't see him, but Johan is here next to me as well, encouraging me and not quite holding my hand because I have to talk hands-free. Hi, Marissa. Nice to have you here too. Absolutely super. Oh, yippee. This is fantastic. Thank you. I just love having you here. And I'm hoping that it's going to really be useful for you. It is for me. So let's see. Can you see my eyes? I can see my eyes. I assume you can see my eyes. The huge thing in our life that we don't really realize is that tension. Sorry, excuse. I am going to try without the glasses because I just can't think when I have them on, and I'm trying to then read and talk. So without the glasses, if you leave comments, I'll hop back later and read the comments and respond to them, or put my glasses back on later. To think this, getting old. Gorgeous and grey. Let's keep that in mind. So, the thing is this. Discrepancy creates tension. Whenever there are two things that are discrete from each other, different from each other, tension happens. And this is going on all of the time. It is a requisite of life to have tension, because otherwise we don't grow, things don't happen. Even in ourselves, we have the tension, ongoing tension of our earth, matter, body, and our spirit, soul, imprinting us into life, birthing us into a soul body, this body. So that's a discrepancy. We have the discrepancy that we're daily dealing with of having a body and all that goes with that, the matter, the egoic reality, our earth plane, my books behind me that before that were an inspired spark from soul to be written. But that spark has to interact with matter for something to be created. And it's that discrepancy that creates tension. And it's the tension that can either grow us or slow us. When we learn to use tension consciously, creating what we love, instead of having it happening as an unaware, unconscious, ongoing experience of our life, it really transforms our lives. If we are unaware of it, it builds up as overwhelm and tension. But once we start recognizing that this is the discrepancy and what it is, looking at it, we can start using it as creative tension rather than stress. With stress, you're wanting to sort it, you want to fix it, you want to change it, you want to get away from it, or be relieved from it, or released from it. But with creative tension, You want to look and see what do I got that I can, I'm using my hand here as this is my creative tension. What have I got here that I can use? Here it is. This is what it looks like. This is what's really going on, because you want to know what's really going on. This is what I would love. This is where the discrepancy is between where you're at and where you want to go. But instead of letting this stress you out of your mind, because literally we do go out of our mind when we're stressed, we go into total feeling. You want to be aware of what this is, consciously choose what you want to create. And this tension, this has now become creative tension, will release in the direction of what you're creating. It's how Johan and I came to be living here in Fishhook, in this house. We decided, using these principles in around about March of 2016, that we want to sell our house in Knysna and move to Cape Town. And we started acting on the tension, the discrepancy of where we want to be and where we were at. And we couldn't see how we're going to do that. And then one of the hints, as you start using discrepancy consciously to create what you want, one of the hints is when you catch yourself trying to fix stuff, trying to work out how it's going to happen, you can know that you are now not holding the tension of the discrepancy, but you're stressing. So when you're stressing, you're wanting to solve it. So we were stressing because we weren't selling our house. We really needed to sell the house before we could move. That's how we thought. And then once we recognized what we were doing, and there was no movement, you don't move forward. The thing you want to create is not being created when you're holding onto that tension as stress or unaware of what that tension truly is. So once we recognized that and shifted back to holding the tension of wanting to move to Cape Town and living in Cape Town, without knowing how we're going to do it, without presupposing we've got to sell the house first, but deciding we want to move to Cape Town. That's what we want. What we were conscious of, the discrepancy was, we're stuck in Knysna with a house that was very much unique, an artist's home. We built it from solid log. Johan built it. Johan and I designed it. Piet and Johan built it, log by log. Very unique house. So it's not a lot of people want to live in a house that is so of the earth and, excuse me, and unique. In a forest, a secluded forest. It's a suburb that's fairly secluded. A lot of people want to be near the schools and other things. So we changed our thinking, stopped stressing about selling the house in order to move to Cape Town, but chose to hold the tension of not knowing how we're going to move from this house in Knysna, which we thought needs to sell before we could move, but decided we're not worrying about that, to Cape Town, and chose to go to Cape Town. And what happened was, the moment, it was literally the next day, an agent phoned randomly, you know, I don't believe in random. An agent phoned and asked, is our house still for sale? So we told them yes. And within the week, we had a tenant for the house, and we were packing up the house. So yesterday, a year ago, was our last day in Knysna. And this Friday will be our 1-year anniversary of living in Cape Town. And the whole journey, we are still creating our beautiful, ideal home in Cape Town. This is not yet it. But all of the houses, all of the moves that happened from that choice, when we decided we're moving to Cape Town, and we'll hold the tension of how that's going to come about. We're moving to Cape Town to be near our son, for Johanna and him to work together and do things together. And I wanted to be near where there's more a vibrant energy, in the sense of, for my work as coach and mentor and working with businesses, with customer service, excellence training and mentoring executives. I wanted to be where there's a lot more opportunities in that direction. And I also, obviously, as you probably know, wanted to expand my online mentoring business, which is what I'm doing. Hence this live practicing how to actually be comfortable and at home here in cyberspace, talking to people I know and don't even know. So holding the tension of discrepancy consciously is the key for us to be able to create what we love consistently. If we don't hold, if we're unaware of the discrepancy and what it truly is, we can do nothing about it, and we will create what we love sometimes and sometimes not. If we're aware of the tension, but we are in that orientation with our thinking, with our focus, with our energy, that is trying to repel from it or make it better or fix it, we are in stress. This tension then, the discrepancy, is then causing stress. But when we choose to be aware of it, to live with it consciously, and apply ourselves to focusing on what we love without trying to solve how it's going to come about, that's really the key thing, because your head wants to jump in and say, hey, I know how to, listen, this is how we're going to do it. We're going there? Yeah, good. We're here now? Right. Direct line of sight. Cool. This is how we're going to do it. And you stress, because it doesn't happen that way. Life has its own way of how it'll come to you. And only when you start to let go of the need to know how you're going to resolve, in your opinion, this discrepancy, can you really start creating consistently what you love. So we need tension. Tension is the driving force. There's the discrepancy of male and female. I mean, just look at the attraction that's there. Boy meets girl. Johan and I met 45 years ago, I think. And it was love at first sight. That's a discrepancy. He's male, I was female. We even have different things that we like, because we often attract our opposites. Those are discrepancies. But that's what given us this love relationship where we've been married 44 years now. So consciously choosing to live with discrepancy by focusing on what you would love and not trying to solve how you're going to do it allows us to create what we love. I'm going to see if I can read some comments. Oh, somebody, hi Linda, lovely to see you. And I love that hello. And I've got to laugh, Linda, because you do laugh therapy. I hope you're joining me here. I know how to laugh, hey. So it's really, really, really nice to have you all with me And I sincerely hope that this has been a useful way of thinking and some insight in the tensions in your life. And I cannot begin to tell you how much living with the tension, consciously living with the tension, has transformed Johan and my lives. He's using it with reclaiming his health. He has Parkinson's disease, as you probably know. And had we listened to the first neurologist that he saw about 15 years ago, he would have been in a wheelchair by now. And we've just decided the body is a self-healing mechanism. And there's a vast amount of things one can do other than medication. He takes the medication, he needs that. But his vision is to diminish the medication, not increase it. And just yesterday we spoke to an integrative medical doctor who's been helping him, who said that there's certain interventions he can do to improve the quality of his life over the next 10 years. He's 69 now, I'm 68. So the next 10 years of life are those years when normally people would think, ooh, you're going to go really downhill. And that's the discrepancy again here. The discrepancy of the perceived, how it's going to be in the next 10 years, the ideal of how he'd love to have his health in the next 10 years, and taking action that will support the vision of what he'd like his health to be like when he's 89. No, 79. Sorry, 79. Just aged him another 10. Sorry, Johan. Johan is sitting here with me listening to this, so I can't skinner behind his back. So that's not why he's here. He's here to support and help me, because one never knows with a live if anybody out there in cyberspace is going to join you. And it's just wonderful that you all have. And I think there's somebody else here as well. Trish. Oh, yippee, Trish. I actually just spoke to somebody this morning who's a mutual friend of ours there in Neisner. He was interested in buying our candle technology. So, Johan's plan for the next to improve his health over the next 10 years includes diet, which we've been doing a lot of this. Diet, exercise, which we know, exercise in a way that increases growth hormone. Doing something he loves every day, because that lifts you into spirit, into connecting with your true artistic being, that spark of you. And he's just actually been sitting drawing about 15 minutes ago. He was after lunch. He sat and just enjoyed drawing because he's a really good artist. And actually he's an engineer. So most of his life he's been focusing on the engineering, not on the art. And then the other thing was stress. Because with Parkinson's, stress his body is like a barometer for stress. You can measure his stress levels instantly with his body. And then to have a way of dealing with that stress is where I come in with my mentoring, and this process comes in of checking that if you're stressed, okay, if I'm stressed, I'm not consciously using tension to create what I love. I'm unaware of exactly what is stressing me, and I am of what this tension is, because this is discrepancy. So I'm unaware of what the exact discrepancy is, and I am trying to make it better because I'm feeling stressed about the situation. When you consciously know what that discrepancy is, what that tension is, that's different from what you'd love, then it becomes creative tension, and it will If you focus on what you love, so if he focuses on being healthy and takes the action steps that will lead to creating health, not action steps that will relieve his stress, but action steps that will let this tension pour forth towards creating health. So every time he's doing something, asking himself, am I trying to create health by eating the food I'm eating, as an example? Or am I trying to feel better by relieving my stress? And the more one does, this is a skill you have to learn. The more he does this, the greater his ability to heal. And he finds this in having longer periods between his tablets, of having more of his body available. And then, of course, the last thing with Parkinson's that he does need is medication. But the medication is not that effective anymore, which is a known fact with Parkinson's medication, is that over time it becomes less and less effective. So I'd love to hear from you. Write in the comments below if you want to add to this conversation, or want me to comment on something specifically. And I really love that you were here, that you did listen, and that you shared this time with me. And I invite you to start living consciously with discrepancy, and to keep creating what you love. It's what we're here for, hey? Why else would we do something than because we love it? This is our only life that we're at this moment aware of and have. And come on! Let's live this. Let's consciously choose to notice what's real, what's going on with our discrepancies, and to create what we would love, using this as creative tension rather than stressing ourselves out. Lots of love. I'll speak again. Bye.